Hi, I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts, and today I'm here with Brownells Daily Defense to talk to you about choosing pepper spray. So if you haven't watched our other video, Less Lethal Options, definitely check that out. But for now, let's talk about how to choose the different types of pepper spray. So the first thing I talk about is that you want to choose the right formula, and there's 3 different types. The one that I recommend is the OC, which is a hot pepper extract, and it's designed to inflame the mucous membranes and kind of help create a quicker cessation of hostilities. Now, when you're looking at the different formulas, the other 2 formulas really don't do that. They're all 3 going to create a pain response, but only OC will create a pain response and an inflammation. So kind of one of the things that I really like about pepper spray. The next thing we talk about is when you are selecting your OC spray, you want to consider the strength and concentration of the unit. So there are 2 different characteristics there. Strength is going to reference how hot is the agent, and that's going to tie into how painful it is. And so what we're looking for is a pretty good ratio there. So it's measured in Scoville Heat Units, and so the higher up that ratio is, the better off you're going to see it, or the better performance you're going to see. So I recommend at a minimum 1 million SHUs. The next is concentration, and that really has to do with the duration of the irritant, how long it's going to last when you spray it on somebody. And what we're looking for there is a percentage. And, there's different types of percentages. I would recommend at a minimum 5%. You can go from, 1 all the way up to 20, and you have a lot of options in between. But what you want to do is you want to find the right combination between strength and concentration. The next thing you want to become familiar with is the type of safety and the type of trigger. So each of the different units out there have a different type of safety, and it's important that you become very familiar with that safety, because I cannot tell you how many times somebody has failed to defeat the safety and they can't get to the trigger. And if you can't get to the trigger, you can't really use the item. So once you understand how to defeat the safety, the next thing is how to use the trigger. My best experience is going to be more in using my thumb versus trying to use my finger to spray. So the thumb is going to be a little bit better. You're going to get a better performance from that. The next thing we talk about is the canister size itself. Now, remember that we are looking to carry these items on our body, and we're looking to conceal them. So that means I'm probably going to have to choose something that's a little bit smaller, which means the canister sizes are probably going to be about 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce for optimal concealment conditions. So yes, there are bigger ones out there, but can you carry them and still conceal them? And that's the big question. After we talk about that, let's talk about the spray patterns. And really there's 2 main types. There is a stream and there is a spray. Both have pros and cons. I prefer the stream because I feel like I can more precisely place the irritant to get the best outcome that I'm looking for. Whereas a spray is kind of like insect repellent. It kind of like leaves this cloud out there that, the bad guy has to penetrate through, and again, that can be helpful in its own way. So stream versus pattern or spray, I prefer the stream, and I like it because I'm able to really dissipate it exactly where I want. Well, not exactly, but as close to exactly as I would like. The next thing we talk about is the deployment. So when I carry, I want to be able to deploy this thing as quickly as possible, because I really do have a short window to be able to effectively employ this agent. So if I can deploy it from a concealed position and get to that trigger, deactivate the safety, and be able to, get that stream into the bad guys, into the bad guy as quickly as possible, I've got the best possible success rate for the outcome that I'm looking for. So once I've looked at the deployment, it's something that you want to practice. And for me, I prefer a canister that has a clip that allows me to carry it, very similar to a pocket knife that I would clip into my other side pocket. One of the other things that is a consideration is when you do grip these, and under stress, sometimes you can actually grip so high that your hand accidentally covers the nozzle. And now you're getting no spray whatsoever. So one of the nice features about this particular unit is that it has a little index guard here that allows me to get my finger up high, but not so high that I cover the actual nozzle itself. So the next thing we talk about is where is the infected area on the bad guy that I'm looking to direct these irritants? And that's going to be mainly in the face. We're talking about the eyes and we're talking about the mouth. Remember, this is an inflammation agent. So what I want to do is I want to get it into the eyes. That's my primary target. I'll settle for getting it in the mouth, but I really want the eyes because the irritant, the inflammation irritant, is going to kind of like close or swell up the eyes to the point where now the bad guy has a hard time seeing me. And if he has a hard time seeing me, I've got the ability to employ some tactics like maybe getting off the X, move into cover, whatever the case might be. So that's my primary target zone when I'm looking to use these things, is to go straight into the eyes, and then second would be in the mouth. Now, as a stream and with the suspect moving all over the place, I'm probably going to get it a little bit all over the face. The next thing we talk about is the duration. How long do you actually want to spray? Obviously, that's going to be situationally dependent, but if all things were to line up well, it's probably about a 1 to 2 second blast. If you're trying to go for longer than that, what can happen is that you can actually inundate the surface to the point where you now it's taken longer for the irritant to actually work. So there is such a thing as too much of a good thing being a bad thing. And here, that's where we get into the duration. So you want to keep those blasts short, and you want to make sure they're directed right where you want them to go, which is in the face or in the mouth. The next thing we talk about are tactics. And so one of the things to keep in mind is that, well, yeah, this is kind of like an area weapon, but I still want a little bit of distance. If I can kind of get a little bit of distance, that's great. If I can put something between me and the bad guy, that's great. If I can use good, strong verbal commands, that's great. One of the things that I tell people is that while this is a really good item and this is a good self-defense tool, it's not a guarantee. Meaning that there could be somebody that I find myself up against who's not as affected by the inflammation agent or the pain that is produced. And as a result, they continue to fight through and are still a threat to my personal safety. So always have a backup plan. Even if this is your primary, you should still consider kind of what should I go to should this fail. All right, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them down below. If you have any stories about use of pepper spray, by all means, please post them down below. We'd love to hear from you. All right, until then, take care and stay safe.